So the most asked question in the music industry is how to get signed to a record label. And this is a question that every musician asks themselves. Ever since I've connected with other musicians and other producers, this has been the question that everyone asked. How do you get signed to a record label? Who has that answer on the formula of how to get signed to a record label? And how can you go about it? I believe you also want to know. That's why you chose to watch this video, and I feel that this video is going to be very important to you. So make sure to watch till the end and make sure you get some insight and some help on how you can get signed to a record label. Now, firstly, you need to know what record labels are and what they can do for you. Now, Wikipedia has a lot of information. They go in depth on explaining what a record label is, how it's set up, what it does, and what are the parts that are in a record label and things like that. So you can check that out. I am not signed to a record label. I do know a couple of people that are signed to record labels, but the thing is, no one actually reveals how they got signed to a record label. So this is now the disconnect between people that are not signed and people that are signed. It's never really one way you can get signed to a record label. So all we hear is rumors and other videos and other people giving us advice on how you can get signed to a record label. And it gets frustrating when people keep asking you, dude, why aren't you signed to a record label? You are so good. And you don't know how to answer it because you don't know how to get signed to a record label. In 2019, in the day and age that we are, record labels need the most loudest artist and the most out there artist or producer there is. And when I say the loudest and most out there, I'm not talking about someone who posts all the time or someone who talks all the time in videos and on social media or whatever, but they mean someone whose body of work is loud and is powerful, and someone who's doing gigs and someone who has groundwork. Record labels nowadays don't just look at an artist and just say, oh, you have talent, cool, let's sign you. No, they do not look for that. This is different from back in the day, in the old days, where record labels really looked for pure talent and invested a lot of money into that person with talent. But nowadays, they need someone who already has groundwork on. As I was saying in my other videos, you need to have your profiles on point. You need to have every piece of your brand on point, because they go for these artists and producers that already look like a brand, so that they don't have to go through the hard work and spend so much money and building you up as a brand and then, you know, putting you out there and represent their record label. So you need to make sure that you're set up in a professional way, like already you're in the big league, and have that vision that, you know, already I must look good, my brand must look good. That's why I always encourage you to have a good brand and build it up yourself. Put in some groundwork, have a good body of work. If it's projects that you have, make sure they are perfectly mastered, they sound as good as they can. If it's visuals, if it's videos, make sure that they are the best quality you can achieve at the budget that you have. Record labels look for artists and producers and people to sign discreetly. They go on social media, they check your profile on Facebook, they check your profile on Instagram, they check your Twitter account. So they need someone who's halfway there, so that they can take you from that 50 up till 100 and make you a complete brand by signing you. This is the way that record labels are working now, unless if there's other, you know, the back way type of ways you can get a record deal, but I don't know about those. But if you have the connects that will, you know, put you in front of the queue, then it's all good. But keep in mind that there's a million people out there that are looking for that same one record deal that you are probably looking for. So it's really tough out there to get a record deal. This also leads me to another question, that is, do you really need to be signed to a record label? I don't think so, because most artists right now are not signed to any record label. Most of them are independent. This is the era of the independent musician. We have a lot of online distribution companies that are there that will distribute your music straight from your computer to them, straight to people's libraries and phones and computers and wherever they play the music on. You don't really need a record label to make it. So if your plan was, I just need a record label to make it, then I think you're missing out on a lot of things you can actually do, because not all of us are going to make it to get signed by a major label and are going to blow up and they're going to put millions and millions of money into our music. So this is why you also have to look for other options. Try the independent way. Most of these record labels, they also look at these independent artists as well and be like, hey, look, we see you've been working hard. We see you have the qualities that we need, and we see you're working. Let's help you get bigger. At least have something to offer these record labels and say, hey, look, I have this, can you help me go further? If you want to apply to record labels, you can reach out to them and, you know, send them your body of work, send them your profiles, You never know what can happen. It might actually work, but that is all up to you. But what I just encourage is that keep clean profiles, make sure everything is up to standard, so that when they come looking through your profile, they will find exactly something that is good, that they feel like they can work with. Don't just think that you just making good music in your computer and you just keep it there, and you just think a record label is just going to show up and be like, hey, we heard you have nice music, we're here to sign you and give you millions. That is never going to happen. So don't think that way. Take care of yourself first, take care of your music, and make sure it's up to standard and your profiles are up to standard and your brand is up to standard. Then at least you can have room for record labels to see you and offer you record deals. I mean, a record deal is just like a job. You need to make sure that when you go for that interview, you look clean, you look fresh. Just make sure that you have all these things in place, so that if by chance they look at your profile, they look at your body of work, they can see that there is potential in you, instead of them looking at your profile and be like, oh, there's nothing here that we can, work on. So, let's just leave him as he is. So I hope this gives a little bit insight on how to get signed by a record label. These are just suggestions I would suggest you do. There is no formula to this. I cannot say how other people got signed, but I can only advise you on what I know. And I hope you find this really helpful. So today I'm announcing the winner of this month's giveaway, and it's this subscriber over here. If this is you, hit me up, email me, hit me up in my DM, however you can. Reach out to me and you can collect. Let me know down in the comments if you know how to get a record deal, what you think about record labels. Do you think they're important? Do you think they are worth to pursue? I want to know what you guys think about this issue down in the comments, so let me know. So I want to thank everybody that is supporting the channel in so many ways. I really appreciate you guys. You keep the channel going and you keep these videos coming. So that's it for this video. I hope you find this really helpful. Thanks for watching. I am X and I'm out. Peace.